Welcome back to Primetime News and a special welcome to viewers on onespotmedia.com as well as TVJ International in the Cayman Islands. As Jamaica continues to grapple with massive bushfires across the island, non-functional equipment at the Jamaica Defense Force JDF is making it harder for firefighters to do their job. The Jamaica Fire Brigade says the JDF was unable to douse the massive bushfire in Irish Town, St. Andrew, and that caused the fire to spread and threaten homes. The fire has been extinguished, but firefighters are battling a battle, or they're fighting a battle of another kind. Kirk Wright explains.
The fire was miles away in the hills of St. Andrew. From that vantage point, one could see the Hermitage Dam and its low water level. As the fire began to rage in the hills, the fire brigade responded. It was then that firefighters found out they could not access the fire based on the terrain. As is usually the case, the brigade's head Commissioner Stuart Beckford said they called on the Jamaica Defense Force for help, but was told they couldn't assist.
We theorize that it would have burned and get close to homes, and so we reached out to JDF. Regrettably, they were not able to assist us because their bomb bucket system that they utilize to assist in dousing fires has not been working for the last 2 weeks. They are working assiduously based on information we have garnered from them.
That's bad news for the fire brigade, since there's a noticeable increase in bushfires for the month of August. Commissioner Beckford says St. Andrew and St. Catherine have recorded the most fires for the month.
Because the truth is, in the hills of St. Andrew, you are going to have a situation where fires are going to be inaccessible to our fire units, and as such, the situation there yesterday evening into night reflects that. We got the call at about 9:30 p.m. that it was now spreading, coming closer to houses and to the main road.
During our visit, we were able to see the vast area ravaged by the fire.
So maybe the most obvious sign that the fire here was recent is the presence of this smoldering log still lying here on the side of the road leading to Irish Town.
The fire brigade says water restrictions due to the ongoing dry spell is now affecting their operations.
You turn up at an hydrant and there may be no water in that hydrant, and so sometimes we have to travel great distances to refill our tanks and to get back on location. And that sometimes allow a fire to grow in size, because a fire will grow and grow rapidly, especially where you have strong winds. And that is what we are experiencing now.
Commissioner Beckford says the fire brigade is not able to say how Saturday's fire in Irish Town began, but reminded the public to practice proper fire safety measures. Kirk Wright, TVJ News.
And over in Manchester, bushfires continue to push firefighters to the limit. They got over 50 bushfire calls in the first week of August alone. Ramarda Lyons reports.
Dry spell, bushfires, the two go hand in hand, and the Manchester Fire Department has been buckling under the heat. In July 2026, the department received 157 calls. 113 were for bushfires, and for the first week of August, over 50. This is the acting district officer for fire prevention in Mandeville.
We would have gotten 57 calls, and 37 of those calls would have occurred over a 2-day period between Saturday and Sunday. So our calls for bushfires are coming in rapidly, and we are trying our best to respond to them. That dry spell means for us, not just in Manchester, but island-wide, that we are in the bushfire season. And that means that this is one of the periods in the year when we get the largest volume of bushfire calls. And some persons might think that we get calls but not genuine fires.
So far, over 160 calls in under 2 months. Resources are under threat. Firefighters are stretched thin, and it's affecting their response.
We are doing our best with the resources that we have, but in the past week or 2 weeks, we would have had to send our units in for some repairs, as the pump, possibly because of the constant use, developed some mechanical issues, and so we had to utilize our water tender, which is what we call a water truck, and along with our utility vehicle, which is our fire pickup, to respond to emergencies while the unit was out for repairs.
When this happens, properties and lives are at stake.
That, as you can see, puts some pressure on us because we don't have all the equipment readily available. But as firefighters, we try our best to utilize whatever resources and get the best done while we seek to continue in fulfilling our aim and our motto of saving lives and protecting property.
As the island battles an intense drought, Mr. Bramwell is warning residents that their role in the fight is not just water conservation.
Because of how dry this season is, then we find that the rubbish, the dry leaves, the bushes, they burn more readily. So not only is the time dry, but everyone can account for the excessive heat that is there.
As a result,
We want to say to the public that we have to be very, very cautious as to how we go about using fires to, for example, clear lands, burn garbage, and so forth. So many times, many of these fires start as a result of persons either clearing land or possibly burning rubbish, and some of them also occur as a result of persons who discard, for example, cigarette butts that were not extinguished before they were discarded. So we probably have fires like on road embankments and so forth.
Ramarda Lyons, TVJ News.
Meanwhile, the Manchester Fire Department says illegal electricity connections are jeopardizing safety operations across the parish.
Sometimes that too affects us. We probably go to a scene and we are putting out a fire, only thinking that we have made the proper disconnection from the GPS line, only to realize that there is an illegal connection somewhere else, which puts us as firefighters at high risk of being electrocuted. It varies based on communities, because as we go through the parish and at large Jamaica, you realize that certain communities are more prone to having illegal connections there.
With the new school year just weeks away, the JTA is again concerned about the slow pace of repairs to schools damaged by Hurricane Melissa. During an unannounced visit to Mannings High in Westmoreland last week, Education Minister Dr. Dana Morris-Dixon said the repair work was not moving fast enough. The minister also told a back-to-school conference in Trelawney on Tuesday that she was not pleased with the general pace of reconstruction. In an interview with our news center, JTA President Mark Malaba reiterated that for the first few months, the association has been looking at badly damaged schools in Western Jamaica. He said the JTA wrote to the ministry in June highlighting problems linked to reconstruction and repairs.
When a team from the Jamaica Teachers Association visited in June, the latter part of June, we observed the very same thing. We visited a number of schools unannounced in the western part of the region, particularly St. James, St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland, and it was the same thing. Very little work was taking place on a number of the schools, and there were instances where we saw no contractor on site. There are instances where we saw only 2 personnel working, and just a basic skeletal staff essentially working on these sites. So it's nothing new.
More than 600 educational institutions were damaged during Hurricane Melissa. The JTA president said the ministry has not responded to the June 29 letter, which outlined the pending crisis for the start of the new school year.
We indicated that the conditions that we saw were really horrendous, and we asked the minister to look into it, and there were certain questions that we asked in the letter. To date, we still haven't gotten a response to that letter that we sent to the ministry, addressed to the minister, highlighting the concerns that we had when we visited the institutions, the western part of the region.